let's get into game news. Changing overlay. I don't have these in any particular order. I did add the items that we posted onto that were posted onto Discord today. I think I added all of them. I think so.
There was actually a decent amount of stuff.
Yeah.
This morning,
Yeah. I also dig down in the barrel a little bit because I wanted to grab something from Twitch. Actually, my thing from Twitch has not much to do with the actual feature they're putting in, but I was looking at some of their Q&A, and I want to talk about the Q&A. But this first thing is about Dead Space. So, we actually have an official release date from Dead Space, announced during their Crafting the Tension Art developer stream. I have to pause. What the fuck is Crafting the Tension Art developer live stream? What is that? What is that? Crafting the Tension Art. What?
No, it's Crafting the Tension Art developer live stream.
Oh God! I'm like going freaking crazy. I'm like, what is that? Okay, you're right. It's a live stream. It looked like it was just a Q&A. Looked like a Q&A with some concept art. Did they show gameplay? Oh wait, maybe they did. No, more concept art. More concept art. I'm okay with concept art. I'm curious if they had actual game footage in here. Okay, well, during this live stream, they gave an official release date here. Oh, here, look. Here we go. Here's some actual game stuff. Okay, a little bit. But the official release date is January 27th, 2023. So it looks like it's also going to be releasing for PS5, Series S and X, and PC. You want to know what systems it's not releasing for?
Yeah, PS4 and Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
And Switch, of course, but lol.
Here's the thing, and I have something for Gotham Knights too. You're going to see a lot less releases now for PS4 and Xbox One, and I think we should anticipate that. But
I think so too. I mean, people. I mean, maybe the publishers more would want to still support the older gen consoles just because of the large install base, especially PS4.
mm-hmm.
But it's getting to the point where, the specs of the game, the graphical fidelity, etc., is just getting to be too much for the old consoles to handle, at least at like a reasonable frame rate or without absurd loading times or whatever it is. I mean, we saw it with Cyberpunk. Like that game was too big, too ambitious for the last gen consoles, and the last gen consoles versions were just a nightmare.
Yep.
And I mean, we've been seeing it with other games have still been releasing last gen versions up until recently, but probably end of this year into next year, and obviously after that we're probably going to start seeing less and less of the previous gen console releases, because those consoles are they're like 9 years old at this point. They're they came out in, I want to say 2013, maybe it was 2014, but that's pretty old technology at this point.
Oh,
and
100%, 100%.
The specs on those consoles are severely outdated compared to the modern consoles, and especially modern PCs.
Right.
Like they're just
No, I agree. I think that, as you put it, another like asking a developer to create and develop a game today to support both gens, that means that they have to optimize the game for both gens, and there is a difference between both gens. So it's like adding on development work that I think, just like for this kind of Dead Space remake, I'm actually okay that they're not supporting both gens. I'm actually okay with this. There's PC, Series X and S, PlayStation 5, I think is perfectly fine for a game coming out early next year. Like first month early next year. I think that's perfectly fine. Because I mean, like, you could play the old games on a PS4 and an Xbox One, and, like, they still kind of hold up okay. Not great, but, like, they look pretty decent still.
Yeah.
So, I'm kind of okay with it. The availability for the old games is still there, and, like, those old games, like Dead Space 1 and 2 on 3, they still hold up decently well on the graphical department.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm super excited for this. This is like my favorite horror franchise, so might be one of my favorite franchises in general, but I'm excited. So anyway, moving on. EA and FIFA ended their partnership. We talked about this a while ago.
Yeah.
Their EA Sports FC will become the future of football from EA Sports.
What is FC?
Football club.
Football
It
club.
makes no goddamn sense in this case. Makes no sense here. It makes no
Why
sense.
don't they just call it EA Sports Football?
They should.
Like
They should. They should have. But they called
I guess
it.
I guess they don't want to confuse people with Madden.
Yeah.
For their American things, they're calling it football, and it's soccer.
Yeah.
And they don't want to call it soccer because they don't want to alienate the rest of the world who don't call it soccer and call it football. So, I don't know. I guess it's a compromise. But
yeah, I just when I saw EA Sports FC, I'm like, FC stands for football club. Like, that makes sense for like a Barcelona, kind of like, because it's a team, so it's like a football club. It's a club. This doesn't make sense here. But the FC is like well understood in the community to mean, okay, it must be like football or soccer related, however you want to say it. So it makes sense on that end. But for me, looking at it, I'm like, it's not a football club. What? So, but yeah, I mean, like, yeah, we talked about FIFA's trying to make their own game, actually. I wonder who will pick that up. I wonder who's going to pick up the FIFA game.
I do not have high hopes for that game, to be quite honest.
I don't either. Yeah, they'd have to pick up a publisher, developer, somebody. They'd have to pick it up and like be willing to make something that's better than FIFA, which the EA version of FIFA, which
the old FIFA.
To be fair, I don't think is that hard. It's more of a problem of how much money do you want to make, because you don't make sports games for single player anymore, or even just head to head anymore. You have to make card packs.
Yep.
So I just personally, for EA, it saves them a lot of money from having to deal with paying FIFA. Yeah, and like I think they're just at a point where they're like, we don't need this. We don't need the license to do this. Do we? Like, we don't need to.
I mean, assuming they're still going to be able to use the actual players and the actual teams
they
in
should.
The game. They're just not going to be able to call it FIFA.
Correct. I think
me, I assume that's going to be the only difference, is they can't call it FIFA.
I think
the game should remain unchanged other than that.
Yeah. They may not be able to use certain international things. I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be limitations. That'd be curious to see, actually.
Maybe they won't be able to have some of the the international events, like the FIFA events in the game, like
Correct.
the World Cup or something like that.
Correct.
But
I don't know if they won't maybe necessarily do that anymore. But do they care, really? Do they care?
Really.
That's not what makes money. Not what makes money. So anyway, yeah, EA Sports FC will start next year. It says we'll start next year. So get your card packs ready. Did you get to watch the Indie World, by the way, from Nintendo? Was there anything in it that really stood out to you? Otherwise, I think we should. Yeah,
I didn't watch it.
I think we should skip it. I really don't have much to say at all. I thought the crab game was just crazy. That's just like a weird crab game, but I mean, it happened yesterday. A good number of games were shown, considering it was a 25-minute video. There's a lot of games that got shown.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think we really have much to say. Neither of us really watched it, so.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, and generally I don't play very many indie games for the most part, so
yeah,
not super relevant. I meant to watch it, but I just didn't get around to it. So
sure. Then let's pass on it. We're just gonna pass on it.
It's fine.
Okay. This is kind of like a two-parter thing. This has to do with like the Square Enix stuff. Okay, so there's two parts. There's actually three, but I couldn't find the other thing. A good article for it. So, number one thing, Outriders didn't actually make a profit in 2021. I feel like we mentioned it, but I found the article for it. And this was posted last Thursday. So, Outriders didn't make a profit at all. Which is crazy to me. Like, I feel like that game sold well, and it didn't make a profit.
I don't exactly know how much it sold, but it did seem like it was popular when it came out and people liked it.
Yeah, so that's first crazy thing. Secondly, we know that Guardians of the Galaxy sales were poor, right? So there was a thing that I saw, and I posted it. It was a Yong Yeah video. That Square lost $200 million on those IPs, including Marvel's Avengers. Outriders, Marvel's Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy lost them like $200 million.
Yep.
Okay.
And they just sold all those things for like $300 million.
So they recouped the loss and made another $100 million. They basically just made $100 million from the sale.
Yeah.
To get rid of not just those three, those things, but like the developers. I mean, like, but more. They got rid of more with that, which is like, I think also a surprise. So, I think I saw the video and these articles after the sale and everything, because everything comes out after the sale. All the numbers are coming out. Those things are going to be shared publicly to some extent, but like it's $200 million lost on those IPs. To me, is just like astronomical failure, like beyond any level.
I know Avengers was like over $100 million by itself. I don't exactly know how much it was. I think the vast majority of that was Avengers, though.
Yes,
to be honest.
I think it was too. I think the biggest chunk of that loss, like probably 65 to 70% of it, was Marvel's Avengers. I'm just surprised Outriders didn't make any profit. I figured it would have like broke even, slight profit. Like that development marketing cost must have been super high.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say like maybe it was just in development too long, or
Right.
I mean, to me it just seems like, I don't know, Square Enix in some way is like mismanaging or misallocating funds in some of these projects, because these games are coming out and they're like pretty good. I mean, Outriders had issues, but like at its core it was like pretty fun. It was a decent game. Guardians was a cool game. I think the big issue with that was the big issue to me with Guardians, I know we've talked about this before, was the marketing. They didn't market it very much or very well.
Yep.
And also people were just like, they were scared after Marvel's Avengers. Like, they didn't like people who played Marvel's Avengers. They're like, oh, I didn't like Marvel's Avengers. I don't want to play another Marvel IP game from
Square
published, even though, again, it was a different studio. It was a different, Marvel IP and being Guardians as opposed to Avengers. And it was if you paid attention to anything about the game, it was a completely different game than Avengers. Like, it had none of any of the same mechanics
100%.
Or anything like that. But
100% different.
People, or at least most people, I guess, just don't care enough to look into those things, and they see the surface things. Avengers didn't sell well, they didn't market it, they didn't like Avengers, or it wasn't good. The Guardians wasn't marketed that well, and so it just didn't sell. So
yeah,
I don't know.
No, I agree. I'm just amazed that they lost this much money over these. So
yeah,
that's like my big thing. I was like, wow, $200 million. Wow, that's insane to me that they lost that much money. So that was just like why I had these two articles here. for that, but that's crazy to me.
And I'm still shaking my head on the Outriders expansion that's coming out next month.
That one I don't get either. I don't even get that. Now that Square sold the oh no, Square didn't sell People Can Fly. Did they? I don't think so. But like
yeah, I think that one was not part of
that was not part of the deal. I'm just like amazed that they do this. Like, okay, let's make a DLC. It's like, you didn't make money on this. Why would you make a DLC on it? Like a year later.
Over a year later.
Yeah, over a year later. Why would you make a DLC for this over a year later? Seems a little bit very questionable decision making. But
especially
yeah, go ahead.
When they I think they updated it a couple of times post-release, like small patches within the first month or two of the release. But since then, as far as I know at least, and okay, I haven't followed it that closely, but as far as I know, they haven't touched that game in basically a year.
Right.
And they're just releasing a huge expansion. So I'm just a little confused.
Yeah, me too. I'm with you 100%. I don't understand. But like Square just I just have like so little faith in Square besides JRPGs. Like if Square makes something that's not a JRPG, I have no faith in it at this point. I'm just like, okay, well, I mean, like Forspoken is Square, right?
Yeah.
So like Forspoken is Square, and like that looks interesting, but I'm like, okay, but Square's having a lot of issues dealing with.
I don't know.
Western.
Well, I don't know what to say because like it seems, with the exception of Avengers, like the games are decent.
Yeah.
They just don't make money on them because they mismanage them in one way or another. Who knows? We don't know the specifics or the internals, like where they're spending their money, what they're doing. But yeah,
that's the part that I think obviously that part's important. So, but the Tomb Raider games are not bad games, that. Guardians of Galaxy, of course, is not a bad game. Outriders was not a bad game. I mean, some people probably said this sucks, but it wasn't because the game was actually just fundamentally bad. It's just like their opinion was they didn't like it. But even Marvel's Avengers was not an astronomically horrible game. It
was just really mediocre.
It just really was mediocre to subpar. But it's not like the game was like bad. But this is just like mismanaging projects, wrong genre projects, like looter slasher for Marvel's Avengers. Not a good idea. They should have just made that a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of game. That would have worked super well, and just had a good narrative. Like that would have worked really well. But Square's weird, but I'm hopeful that Embracer Group will do more justice to some of those IPs and give them more autonomy to not have to focus on certain things like let's be a live service kind of thing. But who knows? Okay. And anything else, or we can talk about more Square with Babylon's Fall. Okay. If this doesn't cheer you up, nothing will. Babylon's Fall had one concurrent player.
Yeah.
I have only one thing to say, and that's just shut it down. This is embarrassing. Shut it down.
Yep.
Spend like a month, take all the servers down, and let people play it offline. Just like make it offline only. It's embarrassing. Like we talk about like HOTS is a dead game. Babylon's Fall is quite literally a dead game now.
And it's been out for 3 months.
Like that is just fundamentally embarrassing. More people are probably playing Bear Vodka Fall of Berlin than this game. There's probably more people playing Bear Vodka Fall of Berlin than this. And that's just like... I just think the only thing I have is just shut down the servers and make it... Like, put like a couple people on it and just make it so you can play it offline only. Like, just don't even deal with multiplayer anymore.
But their roadmap.
This is a case where I'd scrap a roadmap and I'd say, okay, we're done. Like... in some cases, when somebody puts out a roadmap, you laugh, but it's like, okay, well, let's see how they do when they're faithful to it. Like Marvel's Avengers, we kind of laughed at their roadmap, but they were somewhat faithful to it, at least. And while it didn't bring a plethora of players back, they still had some ticks up and down a little bit. Babylon's Fall should just scrap their roadmap, put like 5 developers on this to make it offline available for people, and move on. Just move on. Like you're done. Move on. You failed. It's okay to fail and move on. If they actually like implement any part of their roadmap, I'll be embarrassed for them. Like I'll take all the embarrassment for them. Because that is like, you're making a roadmap for one person, literally one person. It's not even an expression that is misused. It is literally one person that is anticipating this roadmap. Just scrap it. Move on. Throw in the towel. It's okay. Spoon. Just.
I'm looking at Steam charts right now for Babylon's Fall. Concurrent players right now is 17.
Okay.
24-hour peak 38.
Just don't do the roadmap. You don't do a roadmap for this. You what you do is next week you have your PR team carefully craft from a template that they downloaded on some design website, like some wording and like some pretty pictures, and say, hey, we had this roadmap, however, we're sorry, we can't in all good conscience continue to work on this. And you know what? Nobody is going to say anything because no one cares. So
yep.
Just do it. Like when Fallout 76 had a roadmap, you know, it was like, okay, there's some audience still for Fallout 76. Actually, they've somewhat recovered from their issues, and like it's in a good state. Having a roadmap makes sense.
I don't know how big the community was, but there were at least a few like die-hard defenders of Fallout 76.
Right, there were. I'd be curious to meet a die-hard defender of Babylon's Fall. I would be curious.
Yeah. I'd be curious to meet any of the 38 people that played that game in the last 24 hours.
I'd also ask, so you got nothing else to play? This is it? Or do you like love this game that much? Like I'd be curious. But yeah, we don't need a roadmap for this. Just let it go.
We've seen some bad live service games in the past. We've never seen one this bad or die this quickly, I guess I should say. I don't think.
Yeah, I think this is the fastest fall, and I do I agree with Trikers. Like I said, just cut the servers.
Yeah, pull the plug.
Pull the plug, cut the servers, make it so people can play offline if they want, if it doesn't cost you much to do it. Oh, Battleborn. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, ooh, man. Oof. God, that was a Gearbox game too.
Yeah.
Oh, Gearbox. Oh my God.
I really liked the idea of that game too, and it just wasn't good when it came out, and nobody liked it, so.
Ah, man. That's tough. But yeah, Babylon's Fall, just cut it. It's okay. They can hire me to do that too if they're too embarrassed to say it. Mm-hmm. I'll come in and they can pay me $10 and I'll walk in and say, look guys, it's been a great run. Let's cut it. Let's cut this thing.
Been a great 3-month run. Let's shut it down.
We had a really great time developing this for like 5 years, and it lasted 3 months. And that's something let's give a hand. Let's round of applause this one.
We'll forever remember Babylon's Fall.
Okay, let's move the team. We're gonna be support for Bayonetta 3. Great job, guys. Let's give ourselves a pat on the back and move on. Okay, where's my $10? That's all you gotta say to this. And that's what you tell people too. You just tell your 30 fans, look, we tried. We gave it a shot. It didn't work out. And it happens in the business. But we can't, in all good conscience, spend $50 to keep the servers up when we make $0. I don't know how much it costs to keep servers up. I just said 50, but like that's astronomically low.
I hope all 30 for the sake of Square and the team that made this. I hope that all 38 of those people are freaking whales.
Oh, I hope those 38 people have spent like $1,000 each to make the roadmap somewhat like feasible. But even then, that's not feasible. Like $38,000, no.
Yeah,
that pays for like I don't know how many devs that's gonna be, but that ain't it.
Yeah, not that much.
Anyway, I just feel sad for Babylon's Fall. Actually, no, I don't. I don't actually feel that sad. I just feel embarrassed, I think, is the emotion. Anything else?
Yeah, like, I knew this game wasn't gonna do well because of it. We talked about it leading up to it, that there was basically no hype for this game leading up to it. Nobody was talking about it, and even the previews that I saw from it on the big sites like IGN and stuff like that were like, yeah, I don't know about this one, guys. And usually game previews, like, their job is to hype it up, right? And be like, yeah, this looks dope, you know, yada yada. When they go in a preview, go, I don't know. It's usually a bad sign.
You can, when you pay a streamer $50,000, because that's probably what they paid some streamers. They paid a streamer $50,000. If you pay a streamer $50,000 and they can't form the words to say positive things about your game, you're in trouble. If you paid me $50,000, I'd find something good to say about Babylon's Fall. I'd find one thing. The fact that you can't pay $50,000 to get somebody to say something nice about your game is really bad. Yep. That's like disaster, Armageddon, shut it all down kind of thing. Because, like, seriously, if I had an audience and you paid me $50,000, I'd say all the nice things I possibly could. Even if I didn't necessarily think it was the best game, like even if it was an okay game, I'd find positives and be like, look, this game isn't for me, but here's some things that I liked about it.
Sure.
I just remember watching Asmongold play it in a video. Nothing. No emotion. No reaction. Nothing to say. That's bad. That's horrible. Like, I think if you're the marketing group, the part of the marketing in Square, and you see that video of a streamer you paid $50,000 not saying a word, emotionless, not saying anything nice, I think you just go right to the people who are like in charge of the servers, and you can say, where's the plug to shut it off? How do I shut this off? Just unplug it. What's this? Meet the only person keeping action RPG Babylon's Fall alive. Oh god. Turns out it was Gfinity journalist Dashiell Wood who said Babylon's Fall is a flawed but charming game. He hopes to convince friends to play with him. Look, I appreciate the positivity on your hopes. You couldn't pay me to play this game now. Not a joke, this is literally me. Oh my god, the game journalist. It's a platinum game, of course, and I've always been a big fan. The combat is actually a lot of fun when you get to grips with it, and there's a lot of depth. They're experimenting with different builds. See, like, look, this is somebody they didn't pay a cent to, and he's saying nice things. He or she. Yep. Actually, I actually don't know he or she. I don't even know. But the point is, you didn't have to pay this person a dime, and they're saying nice things. You could pay me $50,000 to say nice things, but you couldn't pay a streamer $50,000 and have them say nice things. I mean, no disrespect to the game journalist, but, you know, I don't know how many people care that person likes Babylon's Fall in the grand scheme of things. So, but I am sort of happy that they actually found the person. That the person actually came forward and said, "Yeah, that's me."
That's me.
This is me. Oh man, that's funny. Anything else on Babylon's tragic fall?
Nope.
Okay, we mentioned this earlier. Gotham Knights had some gameplay shown this past week, and it got canceled for PS4 and Xbox One. I also just want to say, I watched the gameplay of it. It's quite literally the same combat as the Batman games. Really, nothing's changed.
Oh, really?
Really, nothing's changed.
The Arkham games.
Yeah, but like obviously these characters have different attack types. Like Red Hood, they showed Red Hood and Nightwing here. Red Hood uses guns, but they're non-lethal guns, which makes no sense. That character using non-lethal weaponry is hysterical to me.
What, he doesn't shoot him with rubber bullets?
No, he just kills them. Contrary to what people may think, he's using lethal. Nightwing, he obviously you can see he has the these like batons, right?
Yeah.
So they showed gameplay of it, and I gotta be honest, like, the Arkham games, like the combat at the time was like, it's cool, right? You get that free flowing combat, and it's really cool. And I of course I like it. But like it's 2022 and we're getting pretty much that same thing. There were a couple things that I liked in the video. They had like you could do like a tandem finisher, and it was you and somebody else. Like it was actually another player playing with you, and I think it was online.
Oh, okay.
So you can have two players online playing it, which I think is cool. I kind of hope there's some gameplay footage of this Robin and Batgirl, in this case Batwoman, one of however you want to say. I'm just like I don't know, like I don't know how other people felt about it, but I was not impressed, really. I'll probably still play it, but I just want to say that I wasn't super impressed with the like, okay, this is pretty much the same combat as Arkham City.
I didn't watch it myself, but you talking about it does not get my hopes too high. I mean, yeah, the Arkham City games, the combat's fine, but
right.
It's two button combat basically. It's like you have your attack button and you have your counter button. I guess there's a dodge roll thing as well. And I mean, you can do a few other things, right? You can throw like batarangs and stuff if you want to do that. But
right.
Like, for the most part, you have your attack button, which the animations are cool. Like Batman jumps between the different enemies, does lots of different like punches, kicks, and stuff. That's cool. And then you have your counter button. When the enemies attack you, you can counter them.
Right. He's got gadgets. Batman's got a lot of gadgets too that you can use in fights, which is interesting.
I would just think that, again, those games came out like more than 10 years ago. That you would evolve the combat a little more from that.
And I didn't get to see a lot of the gadgets that these characters use. It didn't seem like there were that many though. Like Batman in Arkham City, for example, you can actually use, when you get all the gadgets, you can just use them free flowing, and you could do some pretty cool stuff that you would expect Batman to use. He's got like his grappling hook thing and the batarangs. He has like a freezing bomb thing. Like you could just like combo together all this stuff that you would expect Batman to just pull out in a fight, and it's like really cool. I didn't see a lot of other gadgets that they're using. They did show some. They're like, this character can use this gadget to stun, but it was like one thing, and I wasn't sure I got to see enough to be like, okay, these characters are like different enough where I'm getting a really unique playstyle. I think Red Hood and Nightwing did have some uniqueness to them, but I don't know. I gotta see the whole squad like to determine that, but I'm less hyped about this game than I was the first time I saw it, I think is my point.
That's usually not a good sign. Usually, when you get to see gameplay, that's pretty hype. But
I'm less hyped about it just because I'm like, okay, this just looks like Arkham City, but it's not Batman.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I gotta see the rest of the characters. I gotta see everybody fighting. That doesn't mean the game's going to be bad or anything. It's just that's my interpretation of it. I'm sure somebody saw this and was like, "Oh my god, this is godly." Cool. That's totally fine. But for me, I was like, "Okay, Red Hood using rubber bullets, Omega lol." And then just looking at the comment, being like, "Okay, this kind of looks like Arkham City," which I don't think I expected too much, but I think I wanted a little bit more innovation in some way. So anyway, but yeah, we're not getting the PS4 and Xbox One versions, which I don't think is a big deal, but obviously it's just kind of that indication of, okay, more of these guys are having a hard time trying to get both gens going. And I think I'm sure there were just like significant problems with PS4, Xbox One. They were like, we can't release a game like this. And they just scrapped it completely. I don't remember what the release date on this is again. I need to look at Gotham Knights release date again, but I think it was in the fall. Yeah, October 25th. So anyway, yeah, I need to see I need to see the Robin character and Batgirl here. I need to see their combat too.
Yep.
Because then it's like, if one is cooler than the rest of them, I'm just gonna play as that one, and that's it. Oh, I did see one thing though. I did see some other stuff too in that video. I think if you're at all interested, you should watch the videos on the gameplay video for this, because there's like different armors you unlock, and the armors have stats. So obviously you get the base armor that has the lowest stats, but there's like legendary tier armor, there's higher tier armors. I was kind of looking at it like, okay, I'm not too nervous, but hopefully all this stuff is like,
yeah, let's not go the Marvel
exactly
looter microtransaction route. Like, if you want to have a loot system in the game where you get drops and upgrade stuff, fine, but let's not inundate it with microtransactions.
Right.
Like, there probably will be some, but let's keep it to a minimum, please.
I won't say that's the case. I'm saying there was like a tickle in the back of my mind thinking, uh-oh, wait a minute, I'm seeing legendary, I'm seeing stats.
Ruh-roh.
Normally I wouldn't, but we're in a gaming age where when Bobby Kotick sees stats, he sees dollars.
And loot box.
Exactly.
Loot box.
He's like, wait, stats? We can monetize that. See, that's what I worry about. But anyway, any other Gotham Knights stuff from your end? I know you didn't see the gameplay video. It's there, but okay, we're moving on then. This is something we talked about a long time ago. This is the WB Smash Bros. So Multiverses is like the Smash Bros for the WB characters.
Yeah.
It's getting a closed alpha next week. I actually signed up to try and get on it. I don't know. I thought I'd put this on here, but we talked about this a while ago. It's DC Smash Bros. You remember the SpongeBob one? The Nickelodeon Smash Bros?
Yeah, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, yeah.
Yeah. That thing died. I haven't heard a thing about that in a long time. This one, well, who knows? But it's interesting how they're...
Yeah.
WB has, like, enough characters, I guess, to make this work, but I just think it's funny that we're going to see Shaggy and Wonder Woman in the same video game. In a fighting game. Oh my god, I'm just like, that to me is funny.
Nick Brawl was interesting. Like, that game came out, and, well, I'm not really a fighting game. I didn't play it myself. I'm not really a fighting game player or, part of the fighting game community, but I do follow a couple of, like, fighting game people. People seem to like the game generally when it came out. There were obviously some balance issues. There was a couple like infinite combos and stuff when the game first came out, but they like patched those out pretty quickly.
Sure.
Yeah, people seem to generally like it though, from what I saw. But yeah, I forgot about that game now. It like came out and maybe people played it for a month or two, and then I think it just like died. So
it's magic.
It's just like it just poof.
Poof, magic gone. Trick.
Like, the game was a little rough around the edges. Like, you could tell it didn't really have a very big budget because,
sure,
like, the animations were kind of scuffed. The music and the sound effects were like pretty just like stock standard crap, and there was like I don't think there was any voice acting for any of the characters in the game either. It was just like, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you could tell that like the budget wasn't very high, and they pretty much just got the license to use the characters, and that was about it.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see if the WB one has Multiverses has a little more support behind it, and if it can last a little longer.
I kind of hope so. I do like this stuff, but like there's other stuff too that Smash Bros has for competition, like Brawlhalla exists. Nickelodeon Brawl has 40 players on Steam.
So not as dead as Babylon's Fall, but actually kind of close.
But actually pretty close. Yeah, that's pretty bad for PC. That's pretty bad. But anyway, this is close alpha next week. I did sign up to try and get into it today. I doubt I will, but I don't know. Like, I'd love to try it for a day, kind of thing. I'd love to try it for a little bit. There's some characters from WB I like. I like the Scooby-Doo characters. You know, I like obviously the DC Comics characters. Like WB's got some stuff that I think could be funny. Harry Potter is also a WB thing.
Oh yeah.
HP in this game would be funny.
Expelliarmus!
There are some WB properties that I think would be funny in this. Looney Tunes. So, I don't know. It's got some funny, like, cartoony things that could be added. So I'm curious. I'm hoping I'll get into try it out. Anyway. Any other stuff with Multiverses? Kind of a short thing, but
we'll see how it is when the alpha comes out.
Yep. Okay. I didn't even know who the hell 505 Games was until today, when I actually popped open their site. I was like, who the hell is this? Who's 505 Games? What is this? Spoon. What is 505 Games? Because I was like, who the fuck is that?
I don't really know, honestly, too much of what they make, but the only reason I had heard of them is because they have at least something to do with the new Eiyuden Chronicle, because I've been playing Eiyuden Chronicle Rising, and their logo shows up in the startup of that game.
Yep.
So I really don't know what else they make.
Let me show you their games. I'm fairly certain they're a publisher. Let's go through some of them. There's a couple in here that did catch my eye. Death Stranding was in here. Okay, Dead by Daylight was in here. Warhammer Vermintide was in here. I really don't know if they're like what they are in the grand scheme of things for some of these. Control, No Man's Sky, Stardew Valley. So when I said who the hell is this, apparently there's some pretty sizable titles under their umbrella, like Terraria, Payday 2. There's some titles under here. So they're gonna have a showcase next week, right? The 17th being Tuesday. So there's a decent number of games in there.
They are a publisher, by the way. I just they are
some big games in there.
They are an Italian company, apparently.
I see.
Based in Italy.
Got it. But anyway, next Tuesday. So they're gonna have a showcase. Obviously, like, there's a good number of games in there. I'm wondering if the guy who's making Stardew Valley is also going to have his Chocolate Mansion game published by this group. I assumed yes, but I wonder if they're going to have something for that.
I hope we'll see something on the full Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes game. I hope we'll see something on that.
I mean, yeah. Obviously, like, if they had something to show, they should show it. Anyway, yeah, what a day learning that. I was like, who the frick is 505? And then I looked and I was like, oh wow, there's some big games under here. Anyway, next Tuesday at 6 a.m. Pacific time. Is that a.m.? Ooh. Oh boy.
We'll have to watch that afterwards.
Oh, that's
I'm not getting up at 6.
Oh boy, yeah. Anyway, next item. Okay. Actually, this particular Twitch item, I'm gonna say I don't want to necessarily talk about the thing. The thing in here is specifically like they're basically allowing you to do a donation without bits. You just like donate $1, okay? And you can do it through Twitch's interface, and Twitch takes 20%. Okay, so you donate $1, they get 80 cents. No, I'm sorry, you get 80 cents, they get 20. You donate $100, you get $80, they get 20. Okay, I actually do not really want to discuss that. Obviously, we can. I want to discuss something else. So apparently, this is in a beta period where if you are selected, you're automatically opted in, and it actually replaces your cheer bits. So if you get this, you can't cheer with bits normally. You have to use some extension to do that. Okay, you can use bits and extensions, but you can't give bits if this is live. Okay? Here's the other thing. Can you opt into this experiment? No. Can you opt out of the experiment? Yes. So you can opt out by April 24th. So basically, if you're opted in, if they like pick you and you didn't opt out, you're stuck with this. And I was looking at some tweets from people that were like, "Hey, how come I don't want this? It replaces my bits." And like, I'm not saying I like bits, but like, what the fuck is the point of bits if you can't use them? Like, what? I don't understand that.
I thought I read something in this article that said you were still going to be able to use bits once this went live. Maybe they just haven't. I don't know.
Maybe they haven't fully implemented that yet, because it said you could still use bits through extensions. Was my understanding of this. So, what's happened to my bits? Your community rewards are not changing. A limited number of channels have access to direct purchase cheering, which replaces cheering with bits for a limited time. Why does it replace it? Why not just have it be a tab? Why isn't it a tab? Bits, dollars, tabs. Why does it replace it right now? Like that. This is my problem with this kind of thing. Is when you give somebody this and they don't opt out of it because they don't know, or they're. Thank you. So they're like, now all the people that have bits can't use bits anymore on that channel. And again, I'm not a bits person, okay? But I saw a tweet from somebody that like was using bits for some rewards and stuff for their like 24 hours, stream. And it just like they can't use it anymore, and they're like, "This screwed up my stream." Why, Twitch? Why would you have an experiment that like removes a feature for this feature? When like why wouldn't you have a tab for it? It's like, hey, bits, dollars. Why wouldn't you have a tab? I understand it's an experiment, but why is your experiment taking away features for a limited time? It makes no sense. I think the feature is good, actually. I think it's a good feature. It's basically the equivalent of replacing PayPal with the safety of not getting a chargeback, right? And it says when you give, when you support the person with this dollars tier, support whatever the channel is and unlock one sub emote for 10 non-subscribers. Like, I don't know how much the amount is for that to get that unlocked, but like I think it's a good idea. Like, I think this is a really good idea. Chargebacks is like one of the biggest problems that nobody's actually solved effectively for streamers that like rely on that. That's the biggest issue I think for streaming when getting donations is chargebacks for PayPal suck. But I think it's a good idea. I'm just like so confused with the implementation on an experiment.
Isn't the spread on this better than bits? Because isn't it like 140 for 100 bits?
It's 140 for 100 bits. So if you buy 100 bits,
if you buy more bits, then it gets better.
Then it gets better. But if I buy 100 bits for the $1.40, that means that the streamer gets $1 and Twitch gets 40 cents. In essence, like for that conversion, right? I don't know what the spread is for the rest of them, but if you give $1 straight up, Twitch gets 20 cents, the streamer gets 80 cents. So
Yeah, that's better.
So it's better. It's better. But I don't know, like now I'm thinking about like why do you need bits then? What's the point of bits if you can just directly donate? I don't know. Somebody at Twitch is like, okay, the bits experiment isn't working. Let's actually just let people donate. Which, frankly, this should have been the feature before. This just should have been it, rather than bits. It took them 7 years, but
yeah,
it should have been this.
Yeah, they'd rather people donate through Twitch than use outside apps because they can take a cut.
Yeah, Twitch gets cut. Twitch gets 20 cents on the 20 cents out of the dollar, which actually is a lot. Like,
yeah, it should probably be less. It should probably be like
a lot.
It should be like 90-10 maybe, or even like 95-5.
Yeah,
like,
but and if you give $10, Twitch gets $2. But if you know, the funny thing is, if you gift 2 subs, which is like $10, right? Twitch gets $5.
Yeah, no, this is better than subs because it's 80-20 instead of 50-50.
But you don't get the emotes when you don't sub, and you get ads still. You know, you get ads. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think it's a good feature though, but I'm just like annoyed that they're like, oh, you're opted in, great. We're gonna remove your feature temporarily, and you get this new one that we hope you enjoy that. We hope that's okay. Like, why? Why'd you remove the other one? Like, why not just have a tab? Does it like block people from? Was there like an error or something that you couldn't fix in time? I just like that's what confused me. But I think it's a good feature. It's like the idea of it is like, please stop using PayPal and use this, which I think again is probably better for most people because chargebacks for streamers are fucking horrible. Like streamers getting chargebacked is like one of the worst things imaginable for them. So I do think this is good.
Okay, yeah. I haven't really heard about that. It's just like the person donates and then they go to PayPal and just tell them like,
yes,
I didn't mean to do that or something like that. They just charge it back.
Yeah, and they charge back, and the streamer has to pay for it. The streamer pays. When PayPal charges back, the streamer has to pay back too. They have to pay PayPal because
pay extra.
Yeah, they have to pay extra because the transaction. They have to like pay extra to like negate the transaction. It's the dumbest shit ever. Like this is the one thing that like a lot of streamers probably don't talk about as much as they should. Chargebacks on PayPal is like a horrible thing. Like I've been in multiple channels where streamers have talked about chargebacks. It's the reason why when you go to a streamer and you see the donate thing, a lot of them now go, when you donate, they do this like legal thing. They try and do their legal thing, which is like all donations are final, because like chargebacks are really bad. Like they suck. And also it's bad too because you have somebody donate, like let's just say $100. The streamer is like, oh, $100, and then they do a chargeback like 7 days later. And it's like, oh well, now I have to pay.
Why are people doing the chargebacks?
So
are they trolling, or are they just like,
in very rare cases, yes,
didn't have them. The people didn't actually have the money, or they changed their mind, or something like that. Like
my 15-year-old son took my credit card and decided to charge $50 to a streamer that I didn't want him to do. Therefore, I'm going to tell PayPal, hey, my 15-year-old son did this, and I didn't want him to do it. He took my card, so I want to charge back. PayPal says, oh, you know, we're sorry. You have to go through this process. The streamer gets, you know, sees the chargeback happen, and then I think you have to pay for it. This is like one of those things where it's like, okay, PayPal chargeback. So when PayPal returns funds to the customer, in this case, this is like, I'm just reading it. So they request this refund. So in this case, like I've heard streamers talk about this. They're like, I've gotten a chargeback, and I had to pay PayPal for it. I had to pay a fee. So there's like...
Yeah, I don't... Okay. Yeah.
That's
dumb.
It is dumb.
That's dumb.
Regardless of the outcome.
I don't see why the person who's requesting the chargeback that's the person who should be being charged, not the person who got the money.
Nope. That's not how it works. Regardless of the outcome, PayPal charges merchants a $20 non-refundable fee for every chargeback. So
it's $20 flat, no matter how much the chargeback is.
I just looked that up very quickly. I could be wrong there, but that was like a quick blurb that I found. But still, like,
so if someone donates you $1 and then does a chargeback on it, you have to pay PayPal $20.
You pay $20.
That's dumb.
Yep. This is the fundamental flaw that Twitch is trying to solve here. Where if you try and request a refund through Twitch, well, you're going to get the refund from Twitch.
Can you? I mean, well, I guess this would probably be a bad idea, but like, could you not like allow PayPal donations? Just be like, yeah, I just don't take PayPal.
You could, but for some streamers, donations are a revenue stream that keeps them afloat. Like, let's say you only get like about 500 subscribers. So for you, that's about $1,250 for 1,000 subscribers. No, sorry. When I say 500 subscribers, you get $2.50 on each of those. So yes, $1,250. So obviously you want to be a full-time streamer. That's maybe not enough for you to live on. Maybe your donations are
$12.50 a month is not very much.
No, it's not. But you also have to imagine that in some places of the country, $12.50 plus, maybe you make another $12.50 on donations. Okay.
Yeah, you get some ad. I don't know what ad.
And then you get ad revenue.
You're gonna get some ad revenue too.
Maybe you take a sponsorship here and there. It all amounts to you're afloat. You're barely making by. You're barely getting by. If you have, like, let's say you get 5 chargebacks in a month.
Yeah, it's $100.
It's $100. Doesn't seem like a lot, but keep in mind that also negates donations too. So let's say those donations each equated to $10. Those 5 people donate $10. You lost $50 plus another 100. You just lost $150. And like now you have to think about people charging back $1,000 donation, where a streamer's like, oh my god, I can finally buy like a microphone. Well, charge back, and you have to pay extra. $20. There you go. So this is it is a big deal. It's a big deal for the streamers that, you know, obviously are barely making it. They're getting by, as this is your job, and you get charged back, and it's just like, okay, well, not only did I lose the money, but I gotta pay PayPal $20. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. But I'm just saying, could you do outside donations and just not allow PayPal? Like, you'll take other forms of payment, basically.
Well, you have to think about the other forms of payment that exist that you can feasibly do through a stream. So, like, for example, their Stream Elements has their own payment service now that I think you could use, but I think you have to like qualify. You have to have certain qualifications for it. But regardless, like, there's one. What else besides PayPal would you use? Venmo? Okay, how would you do it online? Venmo's a mobile app only. Cash App? Cash App is also mobile only, I think.
Yeah.
PayPal has cornered the market.
No, you're right.
So it's a good solution.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like direct credit card payment or something like that, but that's probably not. It's probably not good either. So
no, it's not. It's probably not. Yeah. There were some streamers that like Bits because they're like, I prefer Bits over PayPal because I don't get a chargeback on Bits.
Yeah.
And that was like,
you can't charge back Bits.
That was the original solution wanted, but I'm pretty sure Twitch is like, people don't buy Bits. Yeah, because why not just me give them $1? Like, yeah. It's just like Bits. Like, fundamentally stupid.
I don't want to pay Twitch $1.40 for every dollar I.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Like, people were doing the math and they're like,
it's just like, I'm getting ripped off.
Yeah, it's like no, why wouldn't I just donate to PayPal, like do a PayPal donation for $1? This one I think makes more sense, and I would prefer to donate this way than PayPal, to be honest. Or Bits. Yeah, no, true. Or Bits. I would not like to donate through Bits. I just think
I
bits are annoying.
I have never bought bits.
So anyway, long conversation for this, but two things obviously from this. One, Twitch is trying to help remove like they're trying to get PayPal out and get some money for themselves while also solving a problem at the same time. Like there's some positive to this, of course, but on the other hand, if I opt into this, which obviously I couldn't opt into it because they said I couldn't, if I'm chosen for this and I didn't opt out in time and it just removes bits, I'd be annoyed. If I was a streamer that relies on bits, I'd be kind of annoyed. And it's like, well, like I have like a bunch of bit related incentives set up and now I can't use them anymore for this one specific moment. Like, I guess I could translate them, but you know, it's just like it's like, why are you adding a hassle? Like, streamers don't want hassle. They just don't want to have the extra hassle. So anyway, but I think it's cool. It seems cool. Spoon?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Yeah. No.
Okay. Bethesda delayed Redfall and Starfield. Starfield is delayed to the first half of 2023, and Redfall is delayed to the first half of 2023. It made anything from January to, I guess,
June.
End of May. June. Sometime in June. I'm not shocked. We haven't seen any Starfield gameplay. I don't even remember what Redfall is. I'm not shocked by this.
It was that, like, Left 4 Dead-y looking, like, vampire shooter game.
Yes, that one. Got it.
Also haven't seen gameplay for it.
Yep,
Again,
not surprised.
It's just a, like, it was a long trailer, but it was a teaser.
Yeah. Not surprised by this. Not surprised. Hopefully we'll get to see gameplay, though. We need gameplay for some of these. But not surprised.
I mean, I assume we will see gameplay at the Xbox showcase that they announced.
We should.
For June.
We should. But I'm not surprised by the delay, personally. Spoon? Anything else to say on this one? I mean, it's kind of a short thing.
I saw a tweet from, I think it was Jason Schreier earlier today, saying that I don't remember exactly what he said, but I guess internally at some point since they announced Starfield and now, like, people were saying that, like, basically that they didn't think it was going to be ready and Starfield was going to be the next, like, Cyberpunk. Basically, it was just going to be a huge, like, letdown. So glad they delayed it because it sounds like it was not on the right track.
Yep.
For that release.
Yeah, extra 6 months in the oven, I think can't do any harm. Yeah, I mean, Bethesda is owned by Microsoft. Bethesda doesn't have to necessarily worry about the money side as much anymore. Microsoft worries about that. So if Microsoft's like, yeah, whatever, leave it in the oven, we don't care, then just delay it as long as Microsoft is fine with it. Which I think, well, obviously we're not talking about Halo here, but, you know, I mean, we've seen Microsoft delay projects. So
yeah,
it's good. Hopefully more time will be beneficial to it. Because Starfield's a big release for Bethesda. It's going to be their big release probably for the next, like, years until Elder Scrolls comes out.
When's the last time Bethesda released something? Fallout 76, I think.
Fallout 76, Doom Eternal.
Oh, I forgot about Doom. Yeah, okay, Doom.
Doom Eternal, Deathloop with the Bethesda game.
Oh yeah, okay, you're right. I forget they published.
Yeah, they've got they publish this stuff, right? But actual Bethesda games, you know, like Elder Scrolls,
developed.
Fallout, Fallout 76 would be the last one. If we're talking about major titles, so Starfield will be their major title for like 4 to 5 years until they decide Elder Scrolls 6 should come out. Because Elder Scrolls 6 is not coming out for a while. It's really not. They teased it a long time ago.
Most of the studio is just working on Starfield right now.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm assuming too. That's what
maybe they'll do Elder Scrolls 6 after that.
Yeah, I think that's a good assumption. Okay, well, that was all the game news that I had in our Discord and in our doc. I don't know if I'm missing it. Oh,
No, you're not missing anything because I didn't post anything, but I have been seeing stuff recently, people saying that, and we've talked about this a little bit, that like NFTs and crypto are kind of just like collapsing right now.
Yeah, not shocked. Not shocked. Not shocked. Really not. NFTs are not a good idea. It's not even like a remotely positive idea in any way, shape, or form. I think it was an idea that a small percentage of crypto folks latched onto because, on one hand, it's all about being a part of the... I'm just going to say it. I don't even care. It's all about being part of the cult. While also the other group going, wow, it's really easy to fool people with this idea.
It's really easy to scam people.
And if you can get other like rich and influential people to latch onto the foolishness, like celebrities. Celebrities aren't that smart of people. Like, I'm just gonna say it, they're not very smart. So they're smart at like their specific craft, but they can be easily fooled, as anybody can. But like, folks bought NFTs like freaking, you know, like Jimmy Fallon when he had his like show and he was like showing off his Bored Ape thing, and I was just looking at like, you're an idiot. Like, you're such an idiot. You do realize like somebody just fooled you, right? So I'm glad it's going away. It was an idea that just, it frankly just wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
I think
I saw.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I saw some tweets people like saying today, like, yeah, remember like a couple months ago about with the, I think they might still be going, but those ads with like Matt Damon in the Super Bowl with like, you know, fortune favors the bold or whatever. Fucking yeah.
Fortune doesn't favor just the bold. Fortune favors the bold and the creative and intelligent. It doesn't just favor the bold. I can boldly leap off of a cliff into the ocean. That doesn't make me smart. Thinking like I can just jump into the water. That doesn't make me smart. The bold folks are the ones that generally see a problem and try and solve it, and they have the bold approach to go do it, because not everybody has, like, first of all, the ability, but second of all, frankly, the resources. You can't just solve a problem. Solving problems requires money. You can't just solve problems. My problem with NFTs is it solves no problems. There's no problem that an NFT solves.
No, it only creates problems, actually.
Crypto, I don't know as much about crypto as like some other people, but I think crypto there was like some idea of like, okay, it's very clear that we continuously bail out banks, and the banking system has problems. Let's try and create a system that like circumvents banks and tries to do its own thing, and is like becomes like a nice potential like currency outside the banking system.
And an investment option as well.
But there was a problem that was solvable there. Now, does Bitcoin solve it? Not really. But there's like merits that can be found to solving a problem. NFTs are just dumb.
Yeah.
There's no problem.
NFTs are just a scam.
There's no problem to be solved. It's like, it's just people being like, oh, hey, like, I can just like, I have a shitload of money, and I'm not going to donate it to any good cause or do anything with it. I'm just going to buy a dumb picture that's actually just a point in the database because I'm an idiot and I don't know any better. Or I just like got fooled. Somebody fooled me and I don't know any better. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. Like, if I had millions of dollars spent on NFT, you can bet your ass I'm just going to turn around and go, no, I think I'm just going to donate this to all these aquariums. At least that goes to something that's solving a problem.
Yep.
So I'm glad NFTs are not working out. I really am. They don't solve problems. They don't solve problems. I can't stand by it. It's not even like a playing card where I actually physically own the playing card. Like, that's one thing. Physically owning the playing card to play a game actually is fun. Looking at a Bored Ape that just looks stupid. I do like the people that are like, "Wow, it looks so cool." It's like, really? You think that looks cool? What? Why? How is this cool? Explain how it looks cool. I never understood those two. It's like, oh, my ape looks cool. Really? You do. You do. Okay. This rotten-looking banana also looks delicious. Like, are we just going with that logic? Like, you just look at something and go, wow, delicious. It's completely rotten and there's mold on it. Looks delicious. Anyway. Okay, well, that was all of our news and some glory for NFTs failing.
Yep.
Also, NFTs are just like I've seen articles on them getting stolen. Well, stolen? Just the money being stolen. Yeah, there's another problem. Man, what happens if all your shit gets stolen? Well, now you're just shit out of luck. Remember that thing that you thought was worth $1 million? Now it's worth as much as that rotten banana over there.
You got scammed.
You got destroyed, man. You got destroyed. That's what happened. Okay. Now that we're sailing out of game news,